2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be one of the best horror remakes ever. Of course, not to say that the original isn't great, but I think what made this remake so great was because it did try to tread its own ground in some ways. It also recognized that the original movie had some great plot structure, and so it kind of incorporated that into the flow. Not only was it a great remake, but it was honestly one of the scariest movies of the early 2000s. This movie came out when I was 13, and it freaked me out so bad that I watched it during the daytime. And I think what scared me so bad is the scene that I want to talk about. So in the movie, Jessica Biel right here is the main character, and she's dating this guy. At some point they get split up and her boyfriend is taken out, and she's not aware of this, and so she's running around trying to find him. And just trigger warning, this is pretty disturbing, but in the film she is searching for him, and then she runs up over this hill and she sees him at a distance, and she's so relieved that she sees him. And then as he gets closer, she realizes that Leatherface is actually wearing his face. Now, to be honest, I think that Jessica Biel gives a fantastic performance at this part, because I genuinely feel her fear when I watch this scene. It's like, honestly, it almost felt like she was really shocked. I almost wonder if they like tricked her during the production, like they didn't know she didn't know she was going to see this mask or something, because I just felt like her fear was very real in the scene. Honestly, this scene is just so terrifying because, you know, of course, with a horror movie, you try to put yourself in the person's shoes and really have empathy for the situation. And thinking about how this might be one of the most horrific situations that you could be faced with in a horror movie. I think that this scene in the movie is so disturbing and so shocking that we as the audience have the exact same reaction as Jessica Biel's character does in the movie. I remember when I first saw this and when I rewatched it, my jaw literally dropped at this scene. And typically I'm not a huge fan of Jessica Biel in films, but I think she does a really fantastic job in this. I'm actually surprised that she hasn't done more horror films because she was really a natural in it. But like I said, this movie was a really great sequel because not only did it do its own thing, it had some really great genuine scares like that. I also really liked the gritty tone that it had and the color correction. And of course, in years following, this became a pretty regular look for movies, especially in this kind of slasher genre. But overall, it's a pretty good movie. I'd probably give it like a, I don't know, 7.5 out of 10.